Hey, welcome to the Cool Adventure channel. My name is Craig, and today we are going to go through a product demonstration of the new OneLeaf Commander NV500 Eagle night vision scope. This was sent to me by OneLeaf, and they asked me to do the same thing I did before, and that is do a product demonstration of the features and how it works, and let's begin. So when you get this, you'll open the box, and I've done the favor of taking everything out of the plastic, so I've had it out of the box a few times. When you get it, it's all packaged very nicely, and the first thing that comes with it is the scope itself. Now, I have it with the rangefinder, so yours may or may have it. This is a rangefinder is an option that you can get. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I suggest if you can get the rangefinder, you'll see later on it's very good. It comes with two scopes. It comes with two lenses. The first is a 1.5x, which is that one. It comes with a second, which is a 2x. It comes with an eyepiece that goes on the back of the scope. Comes with a scope mount. It comes with a IR flashlight with a mount. Has an SD card. It comes with cables. Comes with your charging cables and data transfer cables. Comes with lens caps on all your lenses. This here is an eyepiece, or I'm sorry, a sunshade. It goes on the front of your lens when you're using extremely bright light, and you don't want to burn out the scope, so this here doesn't reduce the image quality at all. It just reduces the amount of light coming in. Comes with Allen wrenches, screws, additional rubber gaskets for this. Your lens cloth, and what this doesn't show, what it does come with it is it comes with a 18650 3.7 battery for the scope, or for the IR torch, and it comes with a nice velvety bag so that you can carry it with you. Let me put this stuff away and we'll get in with the scope. The scope has a special chip in it, a new chip by Sony. It's the STARVIS 2 chip, and this chip was designed for very low light conditions and ultra clear pictures. It's a 4K chip. It's the Starship of Sony now, of their imaging chip. So that's built into this scope. It captures in 4K, which is outstanding when you want to see pictures like that up close. It has 3 gyroscopes. It has an internal compass. It has a elevation, which is the up and down of the front of the scope, and it has an angle that the scope is pointing at. So you could be pointing down on a slight angle, and when you use the Ballistic Calculator, you have to remember that your bullet's going to drop on a if you have your gun on an angle, it's actually, the bullet's going to go down, but looking at the top of the gun, it actually went on an angle. So it has all that built into it. As you can see, it is a compact design. You can almost use this as a handheld inside your jacket, your hunting jacket inside. So you can pull it out, view it, and put it back, and then use your normal scope to go shoot what you're looking for. It's very light and very small. As I was saying before, it comes with some interchangeable lenses. And to put the lens on, there's a cover on the front of the scope. You take the front cover off, take any scope you want. There's a cover on the back side also. There's a little pointer finger to tell you where to go. And on the scope, there's a little arrow. Line up the two, give it a little push to make the seal, and click it in. You'll see it'll go up to the lock, and it is now locked on. The differences in the scope is this is 1.x magnification, and it gives you a pretty wide range. This is the lens that I use the most because I shoot at very short distances, such as 50 yards. I don't shoot much further than that. And if it's too narrow, it's so hard to focus in on what you're trying to shoot. If it happens to move, it's out of the field of view and you got to go find it now. So that's why I use this. If you're shooting a little further, up to 200 yards, the 2X would be good. The 4X if you're shooting through a field. And soon to come is a 6X, where if you're shooting through a valley, where you're shooting nice and far away. Those are the soon-to-be lenses. I'm trying to get this sent to me, and I'll do a real quick review of the lenses to show you the difference of the lenses. This camera is built on digital camera technology, and that is it has removable lenses, so that to remove the lens, push the little button, turn, and it comes off. Grab a different lens. Find the little finger, line up the finger with the arrow, give it a little push, and it locks in and you changed it. So just like digital single lens reflex cameras, they're going with the same technology. Instead of making a new scope, just make a new lens. You can go from 1x to 4.5 and soon to be 6x and don't have to do anything with the scope. You can go from here to here. The scope automatically detects what lens is on there, makes all the internal adjustments for it. So that is a great feature. You can get so much versatility out of one scope and not be stuck with, I wish it had a better lens to it. With the 1.5x lens, it has a variable aperture. So in using it, if it's very bright outside and I'm noticing that some of my colors are washing out, I can adjust the aperture a little bit smaller, so make the hole that it looks through a little smaller so it doesn't get as much light. If it's getting dusk and I need a little bit more light, I can turn it, open this up to much wider, get more light, and again, this is getting more like a digital camera than a typical scope. That's very handy when you're walking around and you start off in the day and end up at night. So the lighting conditions, it'll help with lighting conditions so good. It has 3 modes of imaging. It has day, starry, and night. Again, day mode, pretty self-explanatory. You're in the day, you're outside, it's sunny, everything is good. Starts getting a little later in the day, sun's going down, might even be after sunset, not too much light. That Sony STARVIS 2 chip comes into action now. You can still maintain a colored picture with little light. And I've done this, I'll show you again in the second video in this series, that this here, it's unbelievable with no light what you can see. Again, when you get to much later in the night, it gets really dark, you're taking longer range shots, not as close, you're taking further range, you might need the help of the IR now. The IR has a 18650 battery in it, recharges in the USB recharger. The scope does not take any power from this, and this doesn't give the scope any power. So they're two separate power sources. It does last about 4 hours. It has 3 settings. It has 3 IR settings on it. Level 1, 2, and 3, and each one of those LEDs will light up 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, it's kind of lit up. It's getting lit up. You start to see a little bit of a circle, and here it's washed out. So level 3 is a little too bright. It will go up to 437 yards away, and it has a focus on it so that you can, when it's looking at something close, you can make the infrared much wider. When you're trying to shoot across the field and you need as much light as you possibly can to get across that field at the 437 yard mark, you want to narrow it down, and you can kind of see the circle that it makes when you focus it in and tighten it up. Again, I'll show you that in the second part of this series when I put the scope on my gun and show you some live shots. The rangefinder, which is this little unit here, there is an electrical connection between the two here. Can go up to 1,500 yards, and that's 0.85, 0.8 tenths of a mile, 8.5 tenths of a mile. So almost a mile it can range. The best I have is about a 700 yard range that I've tested it on, and it measures fine. I don't have any problem going 700 yards. I don't have anything that's 1,500 yards that I can try that on. The Ballistic Calculator. Now, this is something that I enjoy, I like. It'd be hard for me to switch back to another scope that doesn't have it, since most of my scopes that I have are all digital and they have the Ballistic Calculator. I'm going to give you a real quick explanation of what the Ballistic Calculator does. As you remember before, it gave you the angle, it gave you the direction, and it gave you the up and down of the scope. So in this example here, we're using a rifle. It's sighted in at 150 yards. Now you enter in information such as how fast it goes, how much it weighs, the drag of the bullet, how high up you are, the temperature, the wind direction, how far away you are. The scope is so high off the barrel, 1.5. So you enter all that into it, and it calculates the arc of this bullet. Now all bullets go on an arc, even though we think they go straight, such as a baseball player throwing from the outfield. He doesn't throw a straight line, he throws an arc into it. And he calculates how high that arc has to be depending on how far he has to throw it. Ballistics Calculator does the same exact thing. In this example, we're 150 yards away. So from his eye to the target is 150. And we see it as being straight, but in the example, the bullet has to make an arc to get there. So he has it set at 150 yards, so when he fires it, it lands exactly where the crosshairs are at. If we go a little further, saying that the squirrel is 200 yards away, we're going to put the scope crosshairs on it, so the crosshairs are going to be on the scope, but it's going to take this same trajectory, and if you follow that line down, it's going to fall short of it. On the other example, if the squirrel is closer than the 150 yards that we had it mapped out for, if he's here, you're going to put the crosshairs on him and you're going to shoot above him. So the Ballistics Calculator takes all that into consideration. It takes in wind, it takes in the angle, it takes in the distance, it takes in temperature, it takes in elevation, it takes in the speed, it takes in the weight, combines that all together, and automatically determines what the arc should be. So Ballistic Calculator, if you want to make sure you're hitting what you're hitting at whatever range you're trying to hit it at, Ballistic Calculator is the way to go. When you're using it, it has a zoom function, and it has a 1:8 zoom. And when you do that, it has a real smooth flow to it. So when you go from 1 to 2x to 3x to 4x, it's not a real drastic change on the screen. It slowly moves into it. You can either go in from like 1 to 8 in 8 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you can go by half steps. So there'll be 16 different settings that you could go to get to that 8x. It's all depending on what you want and how you set it up. The second most favorite thing that any of my digital scopes have are one-shot zeros. And in this explanation, it shows you exactly in 6 pictures how to set it up and how it works. So first thing you do is aim at the center of your target and take a picture, and take a shot. Doesn't matter where it goes. In this case, it's in the lower right side there. Go into the one-shot zero functions and set the Y adjustment. Move. You'll see that a second reticle comes up. Your first original red crosshair stay in the center, and a white one comes up. You move the X over till that it lines up with it. Hit the Y adjustment. Move the reticle down to the center of the bullet, and hit save. Your next shot will go wherever the crosshairs are at. It will adjust that reticle to hit there from now on. It has 6 different positions that you can save the one-shot zeros to, and the functions for that is I shoot my Benjamin Armata 22 cal. I could be shooting the Crossman 15 grain. I store that in position 1. I put in the H&N 25 grain bullet and redo this, set it up again, but store that in setting 2. I take the scope off, I put it on my 22, and I now start shooting CCI's long LR 22s. I store that into 3. I change that to a Hornady 22 shell. I store that in 4. I want to go back to my Crossman. I take the gun off. I go into settings, tell it I'm going to use setting number 1, and my gun is still set for one shot. I don't have to redo it or anything. As long as I put the scope back on the same position I took it off from, it will be automatically centered. It's a great feature, and I like that feature. The scope has 2 sets of reticles. They're called FFPs and FSFPs, and one is fixed focal plane and secondary focal plane. And the 2 pictures look the same except for the reticle. As you see here, as they zoomed in, the reticle got bigger. This here, the reticle stayed the same. They zoomed in on the picture, but the reticle stayed the same. And depending on how you've been taught how to shoot, you might like one versus the other. It's totally customizable for the way you like to shoot. Another nice feature is the picture-in-picture for shooting long range. Even I've used it even in close range, and that is you can see what's happening in the picture. You can see that there's something else going to walk in front of it, and you don't want to take the shot yet, but you want to know where you're going to place it. So with the picture-in-picture, it zooms in so that you can see where you're going to hit the animal, and here you get to see if there's anything else coming around. You hate to see a guy in a four-wheeler coming by. And so that works out real well. It has 7 customizable reticles. This 7th one is hard to see. It's just a dot. So you can pick any one of those reticles and then change them to any color you want. You might be using infrared, so it's a black and white. So black or white might not be a good reticle to use. You might want to use a color. If you're walking through the woods, it's nice and bright, a lot of green. You might not want to use green. It's fall, you might not want to use red. So it gives you the choice of different reticle colors and different options that you can pick from. This scope can handle up to a 308. So when you fire the gun, the recoil action of the gun, the energy that it produces and shakes the scope, it can handle up to a 308. It has a really nice feature if you have a big screen TV, and that is you take the cap off the side, and on the side are some connectors. One of the connectors is this HDMI fits into that bottom row all the way over to the right is an HDMI port. You can now watch your videos on your widescreen TV. You don't have to take the card out, put it in your computer, show it on your computer. You don't have to put it in your phone and see it on your phone. You can watch it on your big 70-inch television in the family room. You can actually watch the shots. So that's real nice. While we're in here, the other ports are, the second port over is an USB-C port. That's if you do want to take your pictures off, you can plug it into your phone, you can plug it into your computer and just download them that way. The top port is, I gotta get my nail in there, is your SD card. It'll handle up to 128 gig card. So 3 ways to use those ports to see your pictures. The last thing here is it's waterproof, and as I was showing you before, it comes with extra gaskets. So there's a little gasket on here. Make sure that you keep this seal tight. It can handle high humidity, it can handle low temperatures, it can handle rain and snow, but this seal on the side has to be tight to verify that. You don't necessarily need these caps to be waterproof, it just protects it. So once the unit's like this, it's waterproof. It's got an IPX7 rating, which means it can handle underwater a certain distance for a certain amount of time, but keep your scope out of the river. So that concludes this video of what features are here. The next video that I'm going to be putting out will be this scope on my rifle, and we're taking shots with it. We're looking through the viewfinder, we're seeing what it looks like, we're playing with the zero shot, we're playing with the ballistics calculator. So if you've made it this far, I truly do appreciate it. I wish you'd give it a like. Please, if you would, subscribe. It helps the channel. And please watch the second video. It's coming up next. Thank you.